Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Black. I am usually your host. We may have a little we may have a little difficulty for some reason. I don't know, but one of my Facebook pages did not want to go live. So, um we're just going to do it on my personal, which is fine, So, I'm removing this. Hold on just one moment. Okay. So, all right. Sorry about that. I really am. I'm sorry about that. But my name is Dawn Black. I am usually the host of Meet the Expert on the Block, but we're going to kind of do this thing called Trading Places. So right now we are live. We are streaming live on my personal page, which is better. There's more people on my personal page, and then my LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So I just want to let everybody know that that's where you can find us if you are looking to want to be to see this. Also, what else? Oh yeah. I have housekeeping items that I want to go through. If you're seeing this, I do have a Dawn Block Realtor page. I just have to figure out why it didn't pop on. But you can see my Dawn Block personal page. You want to be a friend, just follow me. Or you can follow me on my Dawn Block Realtor page. I'm sure I'll figure this out and we'll get this back up and running in no time. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. But again, too, if you're out there and you are seeing this, I like interaction. I've always liked interaction. Every time I have a special guest on here, I like to see thumbs up, interaction, people communicating with us, giving our hearts. We love those hearts. So if you would please interact, I'd love to have you be a part of the show too. So now what I'm going to do is I'm turning over the host to Kathy Facenda with the exercise coach of Schaumburg. So, Kathy, take it away.
Are you scared, Dawn? Are you scared?
Nervous.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Dawn. I appreciate this. It really means a lot to me that you trusted me with this. And I think for those of you that have logged into Dawn's live streams before, you know that she does these periodically with experts on the block. And I mentioned to Dawn maybe a year ago, a little bit longer, that somebody should interview Dawn because she's an expert in what she does. And we need to know more about her and everything she does in our community. So that's what we're doing here tonight. So I am interviewing Dawn so that we can get to know her a little bit more. And we're just going to dive right into it. Are you ready? Are you ready, Dawn?
I'm ready. Let's go.
She's ready. Well, the first question I wanted to ask, most of us know that you're a successful realtor with Century 21 Circle in Schaumburg, and you serve the Chicagoland suburbs. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you did before you became a realtor, though.
So before I became a realtor, I had this idea. I like caring for people. So my idea was I was going to want to see what it was like to be a nurse. I got certified as a certified nursing assistant, and I worked at Holy Family Hospital. I don't think it's Holy Family Hospital, but it's in Des Plaines. I worked there as a CNA for probably about 3 or 4 years. I did kind of jump around in the hospital. Like I tried the CNA, I did a lot. It was a lot of caring and patient contact. And then I went to physical therapy. I worked down in the physical therapy department, helping people walk and kind of get better with their ailments as far as whatever it was that they were dealing with at the time. And then I decided I want to be an EKG technician. So I took a class, I got certified as an EKG technician, and I worked for a cardiologist who had it was like a business, like they did ultrasounds, EKGs, and Holter monitors. And what I did was I worked with the Holter monitor department, and I hooked up the Holter monitors, did EKGs, and I would travel around to different offices. And I just liked that, patient, contact and kind of, helping, caring for people. You're down when you're in the hospital. Mm-hmm. Having a bright face come in and say hello and just kind of cheer you up was my thing, and I enjoyed it a lot.
That's great. That's great. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that before. But I also know that you have a really interesting story about how you became a realtor. And this is one of my favorite stories. So I'm going to have you tell that.
So, as I was an EKG technician, I, um, I was doing that. I was doing that full time. So I kept on doing that. And then my dad had mentioned that the real estate market was starting to boom. Asked me, have you ever decided to sell real estate? And I know that he had mentioned, the market's it's really hot. It's a might be a great career to get involved in. So we were talking about it, and he suggested maybe we can be a father and daughter team, which to me I got excited about it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to first off, I signed up for the class, took the class, passed the test. I was like really excited. I went ahead and I took the state exam, which was crazy, but I took the state exam, passed that, and then you have to get a sponsoring. You got to get sponsored with a real estate office. So before I did that, I went right back to my dad, and I'm like, "Hey, I go, how's everything going? I mean, are you ready? We're going to be, moving forward." And he's like, "What, are you crazy? I have a family to feed. I can't wait 35 to 45 days before I get paid. I have too many responsibilities." So that kind of ended that. And then I decided, what do I have to lose? Why not try this new career and see what comes of it? So I just jumped in to it, and I've been doing it for 37 years, and with the same franchise, Century 21.
That's great. I love that story. And you just jumped in and did it anyway.
I just jumped in. I figured,
Thanks, Dad.
what do I have to lose? I might as well see what comes of it. It was an exciting change, and when you think about it, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm helping people with the most expensive investment in their life, and it takes different times of lives. They might have to make a change, downsize, upsize for whatever reason. It could be a good time or a bad time, but I'm there. It's just like working with somebody in the hospital. That's probably one of their most vulnerable times of being in the hospital. And yet here's the same thing. You don't know what life takes you. You might have to move, downsize or upsize, or just you have to sell your home, so you have to get things going. So I just am there during those times to help them through whatever life gives them.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. So we're doing one of your live streams, like we said before, and I think you started these a number of years ago. You began interviewing local professionals that you would run into during your real estate work. Tell us how this came about, and explain kind of how the events work.
So it's an interesting story. So actually, when I talk about video, I talk about I was doing this probably in 1993 is when I really did my first video, which you have the VHS tape sitting in the bag.
I do.
That was the first time that I was introduced to video. And what it was one of the Century 21 offices said it would be great to do listing presentations on a VHS tape. So when you met your client, you would hand them the VHS tape to say, okay, let's watch my marketing video. And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't, but that was the first. And this was it was a production. So it was really cool to do. And that was my first starting out with doing video like this. Right. But then in 2017, I try to do different things with my marketing. And BombBomb is a video software where you can go and you can send videos to video messages. You can go online. It's just a great way to get the word out. And there was a gentleman there that said, what you should do is you should be the expert. You should be the person interviewing all the people, like your loan officer, your home inspector, maybe a handyman, people in the community, and let them talk about their jobs. So I did. I did my attorney, my loan officer, my home inspector, and I was just rolling with different. I did a home warranty company. So that's how I started. And then, which is really cool because when I started, it was just Facebook. And then what I did was when COVID hit, I had looked at it's called StreamYard software, and it does the live stream to different when it wants to work, but it does the live stream to all different social platforms. That way, the word can get out to even more people. So that's kind of where it went. Yeah.
That's really great. That's so awesome. Before we go into the next question, I just want to remind people if they have questions, comments for Dawn, feel free to put those out there, and we'll be checking in on those in just another second. So as you started doing these live streams, you got to meet so many different people. Tell us how, and it opened up new opportunities for you, right? Mm-hmm. So as you were doing these, you met some new people, and then some of the new opportunities, even like joining the Schaumburg Business Association. So I know that's an interesting story too.
Yes, it is. So what happened was I had COVID hit, and we were essential workers. And at the time, I had a new listing come up. So I was working with my home seller, trying to navigate through this COVID that we were going through. Mm-hmm. There were different ways that we were doing our business, but I got it online. It did get out on the internet, and people were commenting. All of a sudden, what I was doing too, COVID hit, I decided, let's do something different. I cold called different businesses in the area, and I asked them, would you like to be on my live stream? Because I had purchased StreamYard, I'm going to live stream you on different platforms. You can tell us about your business, what you do, and how you're getting by during COVID. What are you doing differently with your business with all of this going on? So I did. I interviewed restaurants, a carpet guy, and as things were progressing, all of a sudden I get a phone call, and a lot of people may know the person. Tina Alarcon with Paintegrity calls me up, and I'm like, yeah, hey, and she's like, you're not going to believe this. You have to, please. She goes, you have a listing out there that somebody has copied it, used it, and is advertising it as a rental. And I'm like, what? I had no idea what they were talking about. And she's just going on. She's like saying, she goes, it's on like Craigslist, whatever. It's on the internet. And they're like charging a way cheap rent. I mean, it was like $500 a month or something. I'm like, no way, really? She goes, yeah. So I'm like, okay, great. Thank you so much for letting me know. And then I'm like, by the way, what do you do? And she's like, well, we're painters. And I'm like, really? And she goes, yeah. So I was like, would you like to be on my live stream? And she's like, well, that sounds like it would be a lot of fun. So I had Tina Alarcon from Integrity on my live stream. We gave away a free consultation, and it was a great time. And if you've ever hung around her, she's a lot of fun, high energy. I mean, it was a great time. We had a blast. And then the second time I did it, I had Joe on, and we were talking about wallpaper removal. So it was like, that was a lot of fun too. So she comes up to me, she calls me up, and she's like, you know what? She goes, she calls me up after all this is done. She's like, you know what? I want you to meet somebody. Well, everybody knows Ragu Sandura with Always Be Connecting. Mm-hmm. And she goes, we can go, and there's a restaurant in Elk Grove called Teddy's. Let's meet there for some coffee. So I'm like, yeah, sure. What do I have to lose? And I knew he did this like networking thing. It was like a coach, and I'm like, okay, whatever. It's worth I'll listen. So I went, and I'm hearing, Ragu talk about his Always Be Connecting and how networking. And I never really did networking before. So I was like, well, okay. And I, kind of skeptical. Didn't know if I was going to, jump into it. So Ragu is meant talking. He will get you going. And I'm like, well, it does sound interesting. And then he invited me, so all of us were talking. Then they both. It was like I was getting doubled up on. They both started talking about the Schaumburg Business Association, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then he invites me to one of his events. So I think he was just starting to do that too. So I went and I'm like, wow, this is cool. And then they were like, we gotta go to a coffee and contacts. So I'm
Right.
like, yes. And even Rich, I met Rich Eisenhuth there, and he also mentioned about that. And I'm like, okay, you know what do I have to lose? I mean, but again, it's networking. Never did it before. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go and see what happens. Well, the stress levels were like, they kind of raised up because I'm an introvert. So being in big crowds like that, it's like, I was kind of like nervous. So I just said, I'm doing it. And I walked in that room, and I'm telling you, the people at the Schaumburg Business Association were so friendly, helpful, supportive, and just was really nice. And then I heard that Jim Idstein was doing a networking group for introverts. And I'm like, wow, that sounds cool. I want to go to that. So I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, just go talk to him. So I did. And he's like, well, are you a member of the SBA? And I'm like, no. And he's like, well, you got to be a member of the SBA. So I'm like, well, I'm like, well, I might as well join. So I joined the SBA. And then I joined the networking group for introverts, and I really enjoy it. The SBA has just been a really great avenue for me to get my business out, have people learn about me, and it's a very supportive group.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. I do see we have a comment out there. We should say hello.
We do. Let's see. Do you see it on your end? Let
I
me move.
do. Do
Let
you
me
see
let
it?
me. Ah, yes, I do. Sid.
I
Oh,
said
Sid. Good to see you both. It's good to see Sid. He's so nice. He always joins on. So thanks for joining.
he's a big fan of yours,
He
Dawn.
is. Thanks for joining.
That's awesome.
So yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. So, okay, let's talk a little bit more about being a realtor as we
Okay.
did before. So
Yeah.
tell me what you like about being a realtor. What really motivates you there?
So I look back at my past clients and my current clients that I have, and there's one story that really kind of resonates with me at how is what it really means to me.
Mhm.
So what I had, you really don't think you make an impact with your clients. Sometimes it's like, and it's not always about the money. It is about making sure that your clients are taken care of, and making sure they get to where they need in their next space, next where they're going to. Where is life going to lead them to? So you just want to make sure. And this couple that I was working with, a really beautiful couple. They were actually engaged. They were going to be getting married, and there were some, you have some ups and downs, and you're getting to know each other. And they were looking for a home, and it kind of like we were back and forth on some of the decision making, and then they decided they bought their house. So it was great. It was like, I was happy for them, and we had the closing. It was successful. They moved in. It was really, really a nice, it turned out to be a really nice experience for them. Well, announced to me, they then told me that they were getting married, and they wanted to invite me to the wedding. And they said, we want you and Chris to come. They invited us, they sent us the invitation, and they made their wedding day the same day that they moved in on the house.
Oh,
So I thought that was really, really, I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool. So
mhm.
we went to the wedding, and it was a Polish wedding, and I'm Polish, but I don't speak Polish. So everyone, they were often, they couldn't understand anybody, only the people. So, but it was fun. We had a great time. And there was that point where they introduced that, now the bride and groom get up and they want to make an announcement. So they get up in the middle of the dance floor, and they're like, will Dawn Black please come up? And I'm like, whoa, okay. I'm like, what? And Chris
Wow.
is like, he's looking at me like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. So I'm like, I get up and I'm standing in the middle of the floor where all these people are like looking at me, and they're like, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for our realtor, Dawn Black. And I'm like, whoa, that, and they gave me this huge bouquet of beautiful flowers. And I was like, wow, that was such an impact for me, because it wasn't just a transaction. This was way deeper. I mean,
Mhm.
it was like it's a true relationship that you are part of their family. I become a part of my client's family. I'm like somebody that they rely on. And it was really cool to be in that type of a position. And it just made me realize that being in real estate it did what I said it would do. I wanted to be a nurse because I care about people and want to make sure that everybody's feeling good. It was the same, it was like, oh wow, this is true. It really does. It is the same thing. So
Yeah, yeah, changing lives, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
you mentioned relationships. It's such a key part of it. I mean,
Hmm.
it's amazing that they did that for you at their wedding, that they, were thinking about doing that, and that big grand day. That's really amazing. I'm
It
sure
is. It
that's
was.
very special. That's great. So in today's market, there's been a lot of things going on in the last few years in real estate,
Oh
right?
gosh,
I
yeah.
mean, a lot.
Hmm.
So in today's market right now, what kind of advice would you give to sellers and to buyers to get through the process a little bit easier?
Okay. So let's start with sellers. When selling your home, these home shows like HGTV, Property Brothers, Love It or List It, all those fun shows that you watch, really have what they've done is they set the bar high. So you need to really stand out. Your pictures need to stand out. Your videography needs to stand out. And I would suggest for sellers, the things that I would do is painting. If the house looks like it needs paint, paint it. If your flooring looks older, definitely consider possibly new carpeting or vinyl plank flooring. Decluttering. I always say less is best. Fix what's broke, and the biggest thing is price your home right for the market. So those are things that I would definitely suggest, because you know what, you only have. And two, I used to always take my own pictures. If you have or a realtor that just says, I take my camera out and take my pictures, I swear you need to make your pictures stand out. And so by having a professional, which I do, a professional photographer come by and take pictures, it makes such a difference. But on top of that, I find that a staging consultation, having a home stager come out and give you guidance of what you need to do to prepare your home to put your house up on the market is
Wow.
probably one of the biggest things you could do. I find it such a big thing that I offer the consultation for free to all my clients. So,
Wow.
so that is just something that's for home sellers, excuse me. So for home buyers, I would suggest number one, get a pre-approval letter. We are in a very competitive market out there. If you are writing an offer on a home, all of a sudden you're in a multiple offer, you don't have your pre-approval letter, the chances of you being even picked or looked at will be very low. So you want to be up, you need to be with everybody else. So get that pre-approval letter. You need to work with an agent who knows the market, so that we can talk to you about pricing. We can talk about what's going on in the real estate industry. All of that needs to be known to for a home buyer. And two, in the beginning, maybe choose areas that you want to be in, what your likes, your dislikes, what your wants, your needs are, so that you can sit down with your realtor and kind of discuss that with them.
That's great. Really good advice all the way through that. And I think it's amazing that you, for your sellers, will do those professional photography, that professional pictures, and also bring a stager in. I think that's
Yeah.
great that you pay for that, because it's important. You don't want your house to be on the market too long. People who want to
Right.
sell probably want to sell quickly. So I think that's all really great advice and great services that you provide that could be different and unique, which is great.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. Um, if anybody has any questions, wants to check in, wants to say
Yeah,
hi?
I don't see anything, and I'm hoping that there isn't a problem
Mm,
because with the streaming. So we'll have to see afterwards. But right now, I mean, it's showing that we're live,
yeah,
so we'll
yeah,
just keep
yeah,
going.
yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. So you do give back to your community frequently. You are a Rotary member. You
Yes.
do a lot of work with them. You
Hmm.
sponsor and volunteer for various nonprofits like the Giving Group.
Right.
And you're also an SBA ambassador, Schaumburg Business Association ambassador. So you really give back quite frequently. What drives you to do this? I don't know how you have
Mm,
free time, first of all, but what drives you to do
I know. It's like
this?
I'm like, oh yeah, I do quite a bit of running around, but and I know you probably heard this before. It takes a village, right?
Mhm,
And giving back to the community gives me as great things happen when you give back. When you give a little, you get.
mhm,
It doesn't have to be right away. It could be down the road, whatever. But the thing is that it shows that people really care, and I care. I care about my community, and I care about people, and I really want to see us to be in a better space. So I do this, for my own self and to make a place, to make this place a better place to live in.
mhm. That's awesome. That's great. That's great. So, as we get kind of close towards the end here, one of
Hmm.
the things we wanted to do was to make sure that people know how to find your future expert on the block sessions and also maybe even look back to some of the ones that you've done before. So, how would they do that?
Okay. So, what you would do is you have to follow Dawn Block Realtor because you'll be notified when you do go to my business page on Facebook. It'll notify you of any upcoming events. I try to do this once a month at least. So that's something you can always be on the lookout. I usually do it on a Wednesday. I go live at 5, and it's recorded, so you can, if you didn't see it live, you can see it on the after the recording. It's also on YouTube. It's also on um, LinkedIn, Facebook, personal and business, and Instagram. So there's different places. I will be working on something, maybe a library of them down the road. I was always, Facebook would let me keep them on there, but now I think they're trying to clean up their storage so they
Mhm.
don't let them stay on. I think it's like 30 days or something like that, and then they drop off. But those are the channels to get a hold of me. And also, if you want to be a guest, I'd love to talk to you. If you have a business out there that you just want to get the word out or have people know you as a person, I would love to talk about what you do and how you do it and all the fun things around that and what you did in the past. So we could set up a time, cup of coffee. I could show you my bag of tricks, how I go about doing it. And if it's something that you might be interested in, then we can schedule out a live and get your word out to everybody.
Yeah, that's great. And let's put your banner up at the top with your little
Oh
graphic up
yes,
there.
yes, thank you. Oh
Yeah.
my, I'm slipping.
No,
I'm
that's all right.
slipping.
Hey, I'm the host. I'm the host. I can
Yes,
let you know.
yeah.
I just don't have the buttons to push. So she didn't trust me with that part. So, and I could speak to it too because you interviewed me for Expert on the Block, I think 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really a great way to expand your audience, talk about your business, talk about what you do, invite people in, let them know how to follow you or how to reach out to you and invite them into your space. So I would recommend that for anybody who's thinking about it. Give Dawn a call, and it's really just a great experience. And I did this with you after seeing you interview one of my friends at Pietka with
Yes,
ACDC Closets, and I thought, wow. And I happened to see you the next morning at Coffee and Contact, so that was really fun.
it
But
was.
I think these are great, and I think it's awesome that you showcase local professionals and what they do and get the word out. But it also speaks to you and the kind of realtor that you are in your community.
Well,
So
thank you.
I think
Thank
that's
you very
awesome.
much.
And then we have another event that you have coming up, which
Oh
is
yeah.
Schaumburg Business Association Coffee and Contacts. What are you going to be doing that day?
Yes, myself and Megan O'Brien from SLSF are going to be doing a coffee and contacts in
Yay.
July. Yes, I'm excited, nervous, but I think it'll be fun. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that'll be on July 24th, 7:30 in the morning. We are at Huddle Up, powered by 25 North Co-working Space. So, we're going to be talking about being an introvert and an extrovert career can't talk, how we strive to thrive. So we are going to be getting our word out. I mean, being sometimes, we see that introverts get a bad rep because we're kind of quiet people. We are quiet people there, but it doesn't mean that we don't know how to network. So we're going to
Mhm.
be talking about different things. We're going to be talking about leveraging your strengths. We're going to be talking about prepare, don't overwhelm yourself. We're going to be giving you some ideas on that. Embracing large groups. Recharging is important. I mean, everybody's got to recharge, so we just give some techniques. Setting boundaries. Learn how to say no. That's my problem. I don't know how to say no. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that. But then also, we are going to do a test. Everybody's going to we're going to test your knowledge to see if you've been listening to what we've been talking about.
Wow.
So,
Well,
yeah,
good,
I'm
good,
looking forward to it.
good thing we'll have some coffee then if there's going to be a test.
Oh, yes. And you know how I love my coffee.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to be there to see you and Megan. That sounds great. That's awesome.
I'm excited.
So, the only other thing I'll say tonight then is thank you so much for allowing me to host this. I'm really grateful to be here with you and to share with other people some of the stories you've told me before, and to give a little bit more insight into you. So I appreciate that so much.
Well, Kathy, I want to just say that, we've been talking about doing this. I
Mhm.
know we had a glitch on Facebook, but I'm hoping that people maybe saw it or are going to be able to see it after we post it.
Right, right.
And like I said, and like Kathy had mentioned, I like doing this. I don't ask for anything. I just like it. It's a great way to get to know everybody, new members of the
Mhm.
SBA, or just get your word out about your business. So I enjoy doing it. Um, and let's say, if you want to be on my live stream, Meet the Expert on the Block, please, isn't that a great name, by the way? Meet the Expert on the Block. That last name is so great. So I have to thank
Convenient.
my husband for that. Yeah, so please call me and let me know if you'd like to be on an episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. I'd love to talk to you more about it. But you know what? If you want to get in touch with Kathy, please, I want you. I know I do this all the time, but I'd like to thank you for being the host. Thank you
Mhm.
for letting me talk about myself so people can get to know a little bit more about me.
Mhm.
If you would please just let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, that's nice of you, Don. Thank you. So I am with the exercise coach in Schaumburg. And to get in touch with me, you can call 630-712-1215. You can check us out on exercisecoach.com. That's our website. And you can also reach me by my email, which is scrolling along the bottom, but it's kathy.facenda@exercisecoach-usa.com. We focus on strength training and 2 20-minute sessions per week. So that's what we do. And Dawn, you may have mentioned already too, that to reach out to you, your phone number and contact information is on the bottom too.
Yes, so it is scrolling on the bottom. And
Yay.
if you need help with real estate, call the expert on the block, Dawn Block, at 847-630-2121. Or you can email me at homesbyblock@gmail.com. So everybody, I want to thank you for joining us on this episode of Trading Places, Meet the Expert on the Block. And until next time, make it a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.